Good morning and welcome to the Pre-Construction Podcast. Today's guest is Prama Kumar. Prama is the VP of Pre-Construction at Hill Wilkinson. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Ciara. Happy to be here.
Good. Okay, so let's dive right in. I believe that your education in construction was a Bachelor's of Architecture in Goa and then a Master's of Construction Management.
That's right. It's been a while, so it's going to show my age. I did my bachelor's in architecture. My mother is an architect, so
way.
I did grow up seeing a lot of construction projects and going to job sites with her.
Yeah.
So that always intrigued me. So I did my bachelor's in architecture. I did work as an architect for a little bit in India, soon realizing that maybe design is not my strength.
Okay.
So I decided to stay in construction, stay in the big realm, but get a degree in construction management.
Yeah.
That's when I moved to Texas A&M and got my master's there.
Oh wow, okay. And then that opened your horizon.
Absolutely.
So when you were doing that construction management, did you decide I'm going to go straight into pre-construction, or did you kind of just fall into it? Like, tell me your journey of how that evolved.
I did fall into pre-construction. My first job was a little company in Tyler, Texas. It's East Texas.
Okay.
And they needed an estimator, so I fell into that role.
Yeah, okay.
I worked there for a year and a half or so, and then moved my way to Hill Wilkinson in Dallas.
Okay.
When I interviewed at Hill Wilkinson, I did ask for a project engineer position because I'd never been in the field, and you know, most people those days at least would say I want to be in the field.
Yeah.
So I did ask for that, but they offered me a job in pre-construction, and I said yes, thankfully. So I've been there since.
Oh wow, okay. And so did you do field work prior? Like, did you come on as a field engineer, or you went straight into
straight into estimating?
Okay, very good. And so pretty impressive career. So from estimate into VP of Precon, over 20 years, was it?
That's right.
Okay, so talk me through the steps. How did you excel in that role?
Well, I've been very fortunate. I've had wonderful mentors along the way, people that guided me and showed me the path. That really helped. Again, I believe there's no shortcuts either.
Yeah.
So you know,
hard work.
I kept my head down and worked hard.
Yeah.
So that's the key. One key to getting to the next step, especially when you're young, straight out of college, or with a little bit of experience. I would advise people, keep your head down and work hard.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. The second aspect is making sure you have the right mentors, because they can really help guide the way and make sure you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. So who has been your best mentor then in the industry?
When I first started, it was Kevin Sellers, who was our chief estimator at that time. He spent a lot of time with me, and I still remember those days when we would work nights. I mean, we would go, we would just spend till 11 o'clock midnight at work, and he would show me how to put an estimate together, help me through whatever I was doing, and show me the way. I had a wonderful mentor. I'm really
But you were obviously willing to put in the work.
Absolutely.
You know, I do find that we've moved away a bit from that, like with the millennials and the Gen Z, and that, you know, sometimes those long hours aren't there. I mean, even in the field that I'm in, like I would have been working to 10, 11 o'clock at night to get the results and to move up. I feel like that's maybe missing a little bit. It would be nice to see that coming back a bit, where I mean, for a mentor to give up, a chief estimator to give up his time and pass on all that knowledge is like, it's just not there as much as what it should be.
Yes, I agree. I think there's no substitute to hard work. But again, we all need to realize and work smart as well.
Work smarter.
And the times are different right now. Right? Everybody demands a better work-life balance from the beginning, and we have to recognize that as the industry moves into the next generation. So I think there's a balance of working late nights and getting the job done.
And then another thing that I'd like to discuss is women in construction. So I mean, I think the last time I looked, maybe last year or 18 months ago, the gap was 9% of women in the industry. It's now gone up to 11%, so the industry is doing a fantastic job of closing the gap. So I just wanted to get your experience on that and how you feel, particularly maybe you've helped other people or your workplace has helped other females in construction.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely increased from when I joined Hill Wilkinson or the construction industry. We have more women today in our company. we've had a huge growth, especially in pre-construction. When I started as an estimator at Hill Wilkinson, I was I think, one of two female estimators. Today we have 17 estimators plus 3 VPs.
Wow.
Out of that, we have 6 women. So that's like a 35% ratio right there.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That is incredible. So what is Hill Wilkinson doing that other companies could maybe learn from in terms of attracting female talent?
We don't focus on
hiring female talent.
Women,
you just hire,
or promoting women.
Yeah.
We hire on finding talent. We focus on finding talent and promoting talent.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate that talented women have been recognized along the way.
Yeah.
One of our executive VPs, Christy Adaway, she started as an estimator, and today she leads our Austin office on the operations side.
That's
so
awesome.
just seeing that motivates other women to stay and work hard and put in the hours and try to get ahead.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, it's really, really insightful and really fantastic to see the gap closing, because it's such a big part of it, and they're so important. So what I'd like to discuss as well is yesterday was fantastic. There were so many breakouts, so many fab events. What was I listened to one actually yesterday evening, Sean Boyer. He talked a lot about AI, and people come and say to me, oh, is AI going to replace estimators? And like, we don't want that to happen. And basically my key takeaway from his conversation was AI will not replace the estimator. It's just going to streamline the process, make it more efficient, allow companies to bid on more jobs, and just escalate everything and make it better for everybody. So I'd be interested to see, were you at that chat, and how did it go?
Right.
And what other events did you go to that you liked?
But I totally agree with you. I went to that presentation as well. And Sean is a very inspirational speaker, right?
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was awesome. And he talked about utilizing technology and AI when nobody talked about technology and AI. I mean, he's right. He talked about when he started, he was doing everything on paper. And so did I. I was using a digitizer to do my takeoff, and then hand writing it on an hand typing it on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So we've all come a long way, but I think what he's done is really inspirational. He's really on the cutting edge of where we are going today.
Yeah.
I also agree, technology and AI is not going to take away what we do.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to enhance the process, and it's going to make us more efficient and make us spend time in where we need to spend time.
Absolutely,
right?
and that's what he said, isn't it?
Right.
That, let's get back on the phone to the subs, instead of soliciting 500 subs, let's use AI to streamline, and then, get people back on the phones and spend time where it's needed.
That's right.
Absolutely. And I believe that you have a big day today. You're going to be speaking twice today?
Once today and once tomorrow. I'm on 2 panels.
Okay, so tell us about that. What is your conversations going to be today?
Today's conversation is going to be about labor shortage and productivity.
Okay.
And there's a lot of conversations about how do we get more estimators and how do we train more estimators.
Yeah.
It's going to focus a lot on that. How do we get more efficient with the people we have?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's conversation is about, it's a topic that I've been trying to work on in my company. It's about innovation and improvement.
Okay.
At Hill Wilkinson, I wouldn't say we're at the cutting edge, at the top line of technology, but we're not behind either.
Okay.
But we're always trying to do better in pre-construction.
Yeah.
So I think that topic really connects with me, especially with what I'm doing today at Hill Wilkinson, and how we're trying to bring in new technology and new products to help our processes get better.
And when you see in there today behind us, so for anyone who doesn't know, we're at the Advancing Preconstruction Conference in San Diego. It's full of tech firms that are super excited. I've walked around a few of them and listened to their pitch. It is incredible what's to come, and it's just going to accelerate everything in pre-construction technology and data, and AI is just, it's the way to go for the future.
That's right.
I'm excited to listen to your talks today.
Thank you.
Best of luck with them, and I'd love to catch up after as well and find out how those talks went. So
absolutely.
What was the key to your success as a professional in your own role? and all the way through at Hill Wilkinson. So what do you think made you a VP of Pre-Construction? Hard work, you mentioned a lot.
Hard work, combination of, I can't say, yes, luck has got a lot to play with it, but luck is, luck favors the brave.
Yeah.
So you got to put in the hard work.
I'm sure it wasn't luck. I'm sure it was hard work.
I think if you put in the hard work, you'll feel you're lucky automatically. So I think it's a combination. I've had the right people that have supported me. Our executive leadership has always looked beyond gender. They've looked at talent and always supported the people to rise and get the job done. I think I've been very fortunate to be at Hill Wilkinson and having the right people support me.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a few times because I know that you're talking about the talent gap and retention. It seems that Hill Wilkinson have done a good job, leaning in and helping. And I think that that's massive to close the talent gap. Is that we're at a stage now in estimating and pre-construction where we've got, I would say, maybe 40% of the industry are at retirement stage. You've got a lot of younger folks are coming through, but they want to do the project management and the ops, just like you said yourself. It's the exciting sort of stuff. That's what they want to do. And then there's this huge gap where like the 8 to 15 year estimator of pre-construction doesn't exist. So the best way to close that gap is to get these people that are ready to retire to sit down and transfer that knowledge, just like you said happened 10 or 20 years ago when you started out, is encouraging leadership to say, right, everybody in this firm is going to have an estimator, a junior estimator, and we're going to put in, and I think Sean talked about this yesterday as well, KPIs. We're going to put KPIs in place to ensure that talent is being retained so that 5 years from now when they all retire, we're not left with an even bigger gap than what we have right now. So I think I like where you're at in terms of the leadership at Hill Wilkinson, and you've been very lucky to seek out mentors that have helped you so that you're not doing it alone. None of us can do it alone.
None of us. It takes a village. And I've also noticed, at least at Hill Wilkinson, over the years, we have created a great path for growth in pre-construction. Not many companies do that. When I first joined, there's a reason why people say I want to be in the field, because most companies have a defined path for growth in the field, right? You go from a project engineer to an assistant PM to a PM to a senior PM. That defined path is not it's not there in many companies. What Hill Wilkinson has done is create a path for the pre-construction department, so people feel like they can have a career in pre-construction.
And I do feel like that is catching on over the last number of years, which is amazing to see, because we would have found that as a barrier, that they chose the ops because of the path. And now companies are like doing really, really well integrating that and changing it. So, you can come in and they're even splitting it again. So you can come in as an estimator, move to a senior or a chief, or you can come in as an estimator, move to a pre-con manager, senior pre-con manager, and get more involved in the operation side as well. So I think companies are catching on, and it's great, and that will ultimately help close the gap as well. Exciting. Okay, so I think to move on to some lighter questions and some closing remarks, let's talk about your hobbies, or like what's your favorite book to read?
Well, I like to read, and I've read, I'm sure you have too, several books over the years. A book I've read multiple times is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I've really enjoyed that book. Kind of relates to me. The main essence of the book is, if you really want something out of life, you put in the hard work, there's nothing can stop you, right? It talks about the universe conspiring to make sure it happens. So I think, and that's why I keep going back to say, there's no substitute to hard work. I think things will happen when you put in the time and effort.
I'm not surprised that's your favorite book, because I can tell that that's just your ethos and your mantra is just hard work, and you seem like somebody that just radiates energy and giving back, and so that's impressive, and I'll check out that book, and maybe our listeners will too. So any interesting facts that nobody knows about you that...
Oh my goodness. Well, I do have an 11-year-old son who takes up a lot of my time, when I'm not at Hill Wilkinson. He started martial arts classes a few years back, before COVID. And I was always a spectator. I've never done martial arts in my life. But right during COVID, I asked myself, why am I a spectator? So I
Oh,
joined
you took
martial arts, I
part.
joined karate classes.
Oh, wow.
And,
Are you black belt?
Yes, and no, not yet. So I'm working towards it. I've got, I'm a second degree brown. I've got 2 more, and I can
Wow.
hopefully get to my black belt soon.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that.
So you're a working mom that excels in everything she does.
Oh, I
You've
don't
now
know.
taken up karate. What?
Yes, it is karate.
Karate.
It is tough.
Wow, that's amazing. That's impressive.
Thank you.
And then finally, I guess, because the reason people tune into the podcast is the Pre-Construction podcast is to learn about people's journeys, and we will have younger folks looking at this that's maybe thinking about a career in pre-construction.
Right.
So what would you tell the younger generation, that's trying to get into pre-construction or consider their options between will I go into operations or pre-construction? What would you say has been your highlight in pre-construction?
My highlight, what I love about pre-construction is the pace, right? The quick pace of moving from one project to another. I like the fact that I meet different people, I work with different people. There's new challenges and new goals every day. Unlike staying on the operation side, obviously there's challenges and goals on that side too, but you're on a project for a lot longer. You're with the same team for a lot longer. So I enjoy people. I'm a people person. So if that's something that you enjoy, pre-construction is a great avenue.
And ultimately, the project starts and ends with a good pre-construction. Because if we don't get that right, then so that's awesome. Well, I think that's a wrap, Prama. Thank you so much. It was really, really nice to catch up, and I look forward to your conversations later today.
And likewise.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Cool.